Okay, let's take this apart and see what else we might find. Hopefully nothing. I'm going to take this floppy thing off. See how technical I can be? Because it's only going to annoy me left, right and centre. And I also want to check how strong those screws are when the time comes, because it's an important part of the guitar. So it's been screwed. So my first turn of the screw means that this has been threaded. So those screws look okay. You can imagine if I'm working on this thing flopping around. It's worse than my mouth flopping about. Let me just see if I can get the middle screw out without any more hassle. No, maybe the bigger screwdriver might help. One of the things I meant to say too is that I've checked the body and there's no missing struts or anything like that there. So the neck, which I mentioned in the first video, which is too low, the strings are too high. It has to be something to do with the shim. I don't want to start playing with the bridge height, because the bridge is specially built for this guitar and I don't want to start fiddling with that. So the bridge fits perfectly to the body and that looks okay. Hopefully that went into focus pretty quickly. I'm going to make sure that's strengthened when I put these back on again. That's a big chunky piece of metal. Pity I can't do anything. I don't know whether you can see that. Whether you can see how badly that is pitted and corroded. I know it can be considered giving it character, but I would like it to be shiny again. Give it a bit of a polish, but it's corroded and pitted. And I'll put the bridge in there too. There's a couple of bits of the bridge that are missing. You know, the little screw up pillars. I'm going to take off the cover for the... I'm stripping it. Take off the cover for this. There's only one screw in the cover. And it is already threaded, the screw, so I'll have to fill that up. Nice and rubbishy. Right, take off the pick guard, which has got problems with it. Even those screws have been worked at. You can see that somebody's had the pick guard off at one stage. So let's just see, has it got... Right, it has a bit of fluff, even matching green fluff beneath it. Into the jar. Screw into the jar. I think I'll give it an initial clean. I think what I'll start to do first of all, before I do the binding, is I'll take the neck off permanently. That feels pretty firm on that. Luckily this is not damaged. I thought it was, so why was it sitting there like it was damaged? Oh right, okay. No, that's another little bit of damage. It's actually the pick guard, the pickup being damaged, smashed past the plastic. This plastic holds the pick guard, for fuck's sake. This plastic holds the pickups in the right position, and it's been damaged. Somebody screwed those down too tight and has forced it down and damaged them. I'm thinking there might be a way for me to fix them. There might be, but at the moment it's strip tease time. You never know. I'm not saying anything exciting here, so I might be speeding past this, but I'll stop every now and then when I say something profound. Oh, well, that's interesting. I've got room to work on, which is nice. That's okay, that's good. Now these, why they were screwed down so far, the pickups were far too low. I'm going to take them off altogether because I think I might be able to fix the plastic with some finagling. Okay. The spring went inside, which is not what I wanted to do, but this part of the pickup is fine. And the screw went inside, but as you can see from there, the thing has been smashed down inside the plastic, so I might be able to strengthen. Look, they're all bent, so I might be able to strengthen that. So I'll put that away. That's another little job to do. Pickups look good, feel good. These pickups are not damaged, but I think if I can figure out a way to strengthen them, I might put some strengtheners on this too, because they are a little bit bowed at the end there. They're just a little bit bowed. Somebody's been screwing them down too tight, and that doesn't help the shape of the plastic. So that's one of the reasons why they're so low, is because the plastic is sunk down in it. Right. I've got my pickle jar, sweet jar of pickles. Wiring looks pretty neat. I've sweet cucumber pickles, love them, but they're expensive. They're £3 for a jar that size. If you can see it, £3. So cheap me, being a cheap old pensioner, I bought some pickling vinegar and I filled it up halfway with pickling vinegar. I bought my own cucumbers, 3 of them, and put them in there and pickled them. Yeah, that's a little bit bent. But the interesting thing about pickling your own cucumbers is that if you use pickling cucumber, it'll burn the gab off you. So you got to use sugar. So you put sugar in, but it's amazing how much sugar you have to use. For that small jar, you have to put in at least a full cup of sugar to kill the real strength of the pickling vinegar, and allow yourself to be able to eat them without going, ugh! Let me just feel the frets. The frets look beautiful, but we'll worry about that later. Now, idiot dropped 2 things in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up that body, because I can see thick dirt on it. So I'm going to clean it up with a very dilute form of liquid, just to get that off, because I'm not spreading the dirt everywhere. Little dinge there, unfortunately. Right, okay. I keep saying that. I have to stop that. Stop that. Right, okay. Look at the dirt. Look. Coming off that. I think it's been sitting for a long time. Actually, I was looking at my Gretsch today, and my Gretsch is covered in dust. I'm ashamed. It's hanging on the wall beautifully, but it's covered in dust. It's a disgrace to have a Gretsch with dust on it. The Gretsch police will come to your door and confiscate your Gretsch if you don't clean it. It's new law. And when I become ruler of the Gretsch universe, that's a little bit better, just on the front. Now, let's could do with a good polish, because it's the green looks better on the camera. We had a guitar very similar to this in shape, and it was beautiful, cream and natural wood. Remember, I said it was one of the prettiest guitars on my bench, but you couldn't get that to look good. This looks better than it does because it's got a bright, vibrant green to it, but it's not that great. Right. Okay, there's one of the screws. I'm being fussy about getting them out now, because if I'm working at this and I forget I put something in there and the pickups are rattling, I might end up losing something. So get them out now, and then you won't forget them. They make these guitars anymore. It's unfortunate. They're very pretty looking guitars and they look to be well made. They still can be fairly expensive and a good quality one. Now this could be brought up to really high quality. It could be. It's just not got that much wrong with it. Let me just get this little, right, get into that corner there, you. Can I see you? Yes, I can. And I have a magic tool. This is a wand with a magnet on it, and it should allow me to pick up the 2 springs that fell inside and put them in the jar so I don't lose them. And that is it. There's nothing else in there. And my magic wand can go back to its, there's a little bit of a string, a little tiny portion of a string. My magic wand can go back to where it belonged. Right, now, taking these knobbies off. Okay. I don't like that. And they're not pressed down in high enough for my little... Obviously you've seen what I've done. I put a little cushioning effect on it so it doesn't scratch the guitar. Both of them have got it. So that means I can get and not worry so much about scratching it. I like this guitar. These are the kind of guitars I actually like. You know, I'm not that fussy on the Fender Stratocaster or the Telecaster. They're okay. They're nice, and I have one there, but I like the but I like the you know, the Gretsch type guitars. That's my style. Not everybody's style, and I appreciate that. But it's my style, and what I say is important to me. Right, those are good and strong. Right. Now this is going to be fun. I don't want to lose that into the ether. I don't want that to go into the inside, but it might. I need to rebuild this whole place so that I can... I'm not quite happy where the camera is still. I think it might be better slightly further to the left. So do I not have a tool for this? Now that's bigger than the normal, so I'm going to have to be very careful with my pliers. And somebody else hasn't been so careful because I see scratches around this switch. Oh, that's a little thing coming off in my hand. So I'll have to see if I can polish that up. Right, okay, one. Well, I'm going to have to bring it in the inside of the guitar, so c'est la vie, tough luck. Nicely wired inside, all shielded cable. All lovely shielded cables. You can see there it's a seal switch, and I don't know whether you can see the sealed cables there, but when I say sealed I mean shielded. I'm just going to have a close look at that with my glasses. It's old cable and it's well worn away. It's split in several places, and this is split, yeah, it's actually split right up to the joint. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to peel it back and take some of the shielding back, so I don't have to suffer a short. I think you can see it actually could be shorted already. I can't bring it up to you to see, let you see. Can I bring it up to you to let you see? Let me just see. I don't know whether you'll be able to see anything. Very easily be touching the earth shielding. So I'm going to have to do something with that, which I think means poking it away and bringing it back, and then I'll see what the wires look like. That's very old. What, 1970? Was that 50 years old? And the more I peel it back, the more I see splits, and there definitely has been some shorting out. Damn, 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 damn. The cable is so rotten that I think I'm going to have to rewire this guitar. Yeah, I was hoping I could pull it back, get some decent bits beneath it, and then put some heat shield on it, but this is just falling back further and further. And the wire is so ancient. Will I get away with that? Well, we'll see. We'll do the third one and see. No, I won't. I won't get away with it. I won't get away with it. So I'm going to have to rewire this. I'll let you see the extent of the problem. What I will try next, off camera, because there's no point in you seeing the back of my nut looking down on this, but as you can see, the wire is just so old that it's falling apart and leaving bare wires to touch the shielding. So what I'll do first of all is I'll unsolder the earth, peel the earth way back, see if I can get down to some good solid wire, and then come back to you. Well, you can see where I got to. It only took about 10 minutes, but the deeper I dug into the wiring, the worse the wiring was. So I've taken everything off, and I'm going to set it out now onto the bench and completely rewire it out of the guitar. I'll go through it. I think what I'm going to have to do is bring your camera over closer so you can see the rewiring process. Although I don't think there's anything really exciting in the rewiring process. But let me just bring you closer, let you in to see it. I could tidy it up a little bit here. Well, I was hoping not to have to rewire this guitar, but it looks like the wires are so bad. Well, never mind looks like, the wires are so bad. You can see there, look, that the rubber is just peeling off them. Even if I tried to pull them back, they were peeling back so badly that they just fall off on my hands. So what I'm going to have to do, and I don't have shielded cable like this, but I'm going to undo it all some of it's got plastic on it to the earth. It's nicely wired. It's just ancient now. And there's a tiny wire here, which would be the earth wire that goes to the tremolo arm. Yes, it is, yeah. So you've got the jack going in to the volume, and then the tone controls and volume control for the back. Look at the size of the capacitors. The capacitors, what are they? I can't see what ohms they are, but they're ohms. What does it say? I would say 400, but I'm not sure. Can't read it properly. The capacitors, I can't see them either. Right, so I think my first step is I'm going to do one thing at a time. Oh look, they've even soldered the earth wires together. Very good. I'm going to do one thing at a time, and that, look, I can't even see where the blacks are going. Look. Right, I'm going to do it one thing at a time so I don't screw it up. I check everything to see if it's what's that there? Bit of black has come off the cable. So right, I'm going to trace this and start the job. I'll probably just lay it out, chop them all off. Keep those cables because they look fine. Those little cables that go to the, and I'll just strip all the cables off. I was hoping that there would be a way I could just sort of do one wire. Now they soldered it there. They've actually soldered the whole thing before that went in, which makes it neat. But tracing, it probably just take as much, it's probably better just to rewire the whole bloody thing again. Okay, right, well I'm not going to do that tonight because it's 8:30. I'm tired. I need a bit of chocolate, a cup of coffee. I'm going to sit down and relapse for a while. Okay, unfortunately too, somebody has screwed in these little buggers and they pressed down on the plastic. They're not damaged yet, so I don't know why people screw them in, because they don't need to be screwed in tight. They just need to be sitting there. Yes, you can adjust your sound with these, but so rare, unless you're a professional player and everything sounds super to you. You don't need to over tighten them or even move them at all. So I'm just loosening them off. I don't want to start pulling away at it because it could damage the little coils inside, so I'm not going to go crazy on that. I'm just tightening them back down again, as long as they don't rattle, but they're not being tightened too much. Right, so that's enough for tonight. That's enough for tonight. All right. Night, bye-bye, tight, bye-bye, night. You won't even know it's night. Okay, an hour and a half it took me to rewire and strip the other from the guitar. There are the other cables. You can see, if it doesn't fall apart, just how weak they are. They're falling apart, really like 1950s wiring in a house. They can all go in the bin now. Now, what I had to use, I had a coaxial cable, but I don't like using the fine coaxial cable because it's not strong enough. So what I did is I used the coaxial cable, but I used the shield as a common core. So the coaxial cable is the main core, and I didn't have green, so I used red as the earth wire. So you can see it's black and red. So the earth goes from there to there to there to the earth switch, and then the earth switch goes to the jack plug. And as you can see, the black live wires go to each other the way they should do, and to the switch, all nice and firmly done. Blue tape is just to hold it together so it doesn't get confusing. So that'll all fit in. What you'll notice that I did that they didn't do is I used about another 4 inches on each wire, just to give myself room. These guys are in a factory and they know the exact dimensions of each cable to use, but I wanted to play safe. I also put a little bit of a heat shield where the capacitor is, just to give it a little bit more shielding, protection, I mean, from the earth. So the thing to do now is, I've already tested it and it's all working fine. The thing to do now is to get these switches all cleaned up. They seem to work a lot better now, because what had happened before with this old cable, which Georgie girl just pulled out of it, is that because it was earthing everywhere, it was earthing against itself and all, so I couldn't really test the switches the way they wanted to be tested. And sometimes I was blaming the switches for a fault when it wasn't the switches. It was the earth collapsing on itself to the live wire. So what I'm going to do now is clean these thoroughly and test it again, and then put them in the guitar and then test it thoroughly. So I'll come back to you whenever I've done the cleaning of the switches and things like that there, and they're sitting in the guitar, and you're going to hear the test with me. Okay, bye. Bye. I'm not seeing a lot down there except for dust. What I'm looking for is, I think the back has been taken off, or it's become very loose, but I'm beginning to doubt that now when I look at the way the glue is at the top there. The top part and the bottom part are much the same. So the bottom part appears to be, let's just get you around there. The bottom part appears to be, that looks to be loose, and it does move about, but taking that off would damage all the rest of it. But what I see there, you see, you pull out a bit, hold on. There's a ridge there the whole way down into there, and there's a crack in there. So I think that I'm going to scrape out that and just glue it back together again. But the other problem is that the binding's too thick. This is quite thin. Two different types of binding. One at the back hasn't got a line on it. Let me just show you. It's just a straightforward binding. And the one at the front has got a three bar line on it. You see that? So this camera. So the stuff I've got is single bar, which is fine, but it's so fat that I don't know if I can use it or not. To slim it down, to thin it, it'd be an impossible task. So I'm going to look to see if I can find some other binding.